Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to another video. I am here going to be bringing you a list of underrated bands. Now, this list I'm going to kind of make short and sweet, and I'm going to try to upload it raw, and I do understand that I like a lot of other bands that I could consider underrated, but these are just the ones that I can think of from the top of my head, and these are the bands that I feel like deserve a lot more recognition. So we can start things off with Insomnium, who is a melodic death metal band from Finland, I believe. And these guys really are something else. I mean, if you are looking for, I guess, metal bands that combine classical elements, I think you should check these guys out because I think these guys do have a lot to offer. I don't think Insomnium has had one bad album. I'm sure they've had like a iffy album or two, but for the most part, I think they're really good. And Insomnium is one of those bands that actually get better with age, because I know in most cases with bands, a band's older work is usually better, but Insomnium is quite the exception. And yeah, I think these guys deserve more recognition, so they deserve a spot on the list. So next up, we got Demon Hunter. Now, of course, a lot of you know how big of a fan I am of this band. I have a Demon Hunter poster in the background there. That's been there for quite some time, as a lot of you know. But yeah, I don't know how these guys are not talked about a lot in the metal community, especially for people that also like a lot of metalcore bands like Killswitch Engage. If you're into bands like those, definitely give these guys a go. Because Demon Hunter has a lot to offer. They were one of the first bands that I really ever gotten into that, well, got me into metal, that is. And they still hold up for me, I think. And if they announce like a new album, anytime that they do announce a new album, I'm usually stoked. Very, very stoked. And Ryan Clark's voice is just phenomenal, in my opinion. One of the best voices in not just metal, but music in general. Yeah, definitely check these guys out because you're definitely missing out. And I would definitely say these guys are definitely underrated. So next up we got Between the Buried and Me. Now, of course, I do think these guys are also very underrated. If you like metalcore bands that combine progressive metal, I think you're going to really like these guys. I think Between the Buried and Me is another one of those bands that I don't think have ever released a bad album. Now again, I do think they've had a couple iffy albums, maybe one, but for the most part, I think they put out some really good music, and I think they have a lot to offer. The instrumentation is just phenomenal in their music. A lot of great albums in their discography, I must say. So yeah, that's Between the Buried and Me. I think they're an underrated band. So next up we got the band Red. Now, I don't know how these guys don't get more recognition. Usually it's bands like 3 Days Grace and Breaking Benjamin that get more recognition, but Red is a really, really great band, and one of the best rock bands, in my opinion, and definitely underrated. If you're someone who's into any rock music, I definitely recommend you check these guys out. Now again, these guys have had maybe an iffy album or two, but most of their work and most of the music that they put out is really good. Really good sounding hard rock, alternative metal type music. So yeah, I do think Red is an underrated band overall. And we're going to end things off with the band Vigester. Now, I do know these guys personally, and I definitely think they deserve a spot to be on this list because, what can I say? I think they're underrated. If you're into bands like Tool, because if I were to compare these guys to any band, I would actually compare them to Tool. So if you guys are into bands like Tool, definitely give these guys a chance. Their latest EP, All in Jest, is a really good one to listen to, and it's one that I will come to every now and then, and yeah, I think these guys do have quite a bit to offer. I know they only released EPs, but that's because they're a super, super small band, and I do look forward to what these guys have in store next. So Vigester, I think, is definitely a very underrated band. So there you go, guys. That is a list of underrated bands. Let me know what you guys think, and what bands do you think are underrated? Please let me know down in the comments. So thank you so much for watching, and take care.